Hello, welcome back to the Boardgames 4K YouTube channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings, which I really like to talk a load of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general. And in this video we're going to be talking about a really old game that was released in 2075 BC. We're going to be talking about Incan Gold, otherwise known as Daimant or Daimant or whatever you want to call it. And in this game you'll be assuming the role of an intrepid adventurer. You'll be delving into the depths of an Incan temple to loot the temple of his riches and hopefully escape without getting your ass kicked by a load of hazards. In this video we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules. We're telling you what we do like, we don't like. We'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not Incan Gold is worth your bother today and in the future. So remember, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in the section down below. We'll see you after this. Boardgames 4K. So, Incan Gold. How do you play this game? So in Incan Gold you are going to get a little tent. Well, in our version of it anyway, you're going to get a little tent. You're going to get two cards. You're going to get a camp card. You're going to get a torch card. A torch card basically says to the other players that you are going to stay in the temple, and a camp card basically tells you you're going to bugger off out of the temple. So to start the game, to set it up, you're going to be placing the 5 temple cards onto the table that will tell you when the game's going to be over. Obviously when you get to temple number 5, that's it, you've looted the temple, you can go home and have a snooze, right? So you're going to start around by flipping over one of the first temple card, and you're going to progress through 1 to 5, right? And then you'll take the artifact you slipped under that card, you'll shuffle it into the quest deck, right? And what you'll do, you won't do this on the first round, but what you'll do on subsequent rounds, all the players will select one of their cards and then they'll place it face down, and there'll be a simultaneous reveal telling the other players whether or not they're going to stay in the temple, whether they're going to bottle it and leave the temple. So if they play a stay in the temple card, you'll reveal the next card from the quest deck, and you'll build up a little pathway on the table of all the cards that you have drawn. There's 2 types of cards. You've got treasure cards, then you've got hazard cards, right? If you draw a treasure card, it's going to be a certain denomination of gems or cash that's on the card, and you'll split the denomination that the card tells you equally amongst all the players, and then any other gems that are left over will be placed onto the card itself. If a player plays a camp card, then they are saying they're going to leave the temple, and what they'll do, they'll pick up all the gems that were left on the cards and they'll put them in their tent, and any of the gems that they acquired previously into their tent, and that is theirs to keep. Okay, so if you draw a hazard card, you'll place it sideways into the pathway that you're constructing so it's easier to see, and for every hazard that matches the hazard that's already in the path, then something will happen. So any players that are left in the temple when the second hazard card is drawn, they'll be booted out of the temple and they'll have to give up any riches that haven't been secured in their tent. Right, you've got to remember also, there's 3 mummies, there's 3 spiders, there's 3, I think it's fires, I don't know what it is, but it's not very pleasant anyway. So you know when the second one comes out that there's only 1 left, and when the second one does come out, then you've got to discard one of those cards into a discard pile, right? So if you draw an artifact card, you'll place it into the pathway. The first 3 artifacts are worth 5 gems, and then any further artifacts that are drawn are worth 10 gems. And the way you get these artifacts is if you are the only player to leave the temple on a specific round. So you've got to be careful that no one else does it, because then you won't be able to loot the artifacts, right? So you keep doing this, you'll keep putting your tentacles further into the temple until you reach round 5. The game will be over, you'll add up all the gems that you've got. You've got more gems than everyone else, and you will be the winner of Incan Gold. So what do we like about Incan Gold? So the first thing that we like about Incan Gold is that the rewards in this game stack up very quickly. You go from having no gems on the cards and no gems in front of you and no gems in your tent to having loads and loads of gems flying about all over the place, so much so that you can't count them all. The game sort of tempts you very quickly into thinking that there's more there than there actually is, you know. So the second thing that we really like about Incan Gold is the fact that it plays up to 8 players. This is a game that is well suited to higher player counts. We've played it with all player counts. We've played it at the lowest player counts, which is 3, I think, and we've played it at 8, and it definitely works better at 8 players. And there's not really that many games of this type that can accommodate 8 players, so it's always welcome to see a game that you can pull out when you've got large gatherings in it. So the first thing we like about Incan Gold is that the artifacts, they add an extra layer. I'm not going to say depth, right, but they add an extra layer of something to the game, because where you have to be the only player to leave the temple on your turn, then this introduces a sort of a type of sort of bluffing for you reveal your camp card, right? So you've got to try and make people think that you ain't leaving the temple. So you've got to come up with all this bluff and bluster that for reasons why you think you're the hardest geezer in town and you're going to stay in the temple when really you're actually planning to leave, right? And it's quite nice that there's this really simple layer of bluffing that is brought on by the added bonus of having those artifact cards in the deck. So the final thing that we like about Incan Gold is that there's no better thing when you've got 8 players is watching a huge stack of people blow their wad when the second hazard comes out, right? It is a sight to behold where you get that groan in unison of 7 mature adults cursing their luck, blaming everybody from Santa Claus to the Dalai Lama as to why that mummy came out the deck, right? And that is funny as f***. So what don't we like about Incan Gold? So the first thing that we really don't like about Incan Gold, where the deck is random and shuffled, the hazard cards can come out in rapid succession. We played it yesterday, and the 2 spider cards came out back to back, right? And that was it. The round was over. That was sort of like a wasted round. And there was a couple of other rounds where only lasted for maybe like 3 turns. You only stayed in for 3 turns before everyone got booted out. So I think the nature of the game, where it's just a quick and simple jaunt into the temple, can also be the downfall of this game. So the second thing that we don't like about this game is that the mechanism is just a simple choice of, are you going to stay or are you going to go? Every time I dig this out, I want to dress up like Indiana Jones and have a great big dirty marble follow me down the high street. Never happens. I suppose you could say that the theme in this game is a bit lackluster. So the next thing that we don't like about Incan Gold is that some of the turns, well, a lot of the turns, it's just a case of staying in. And you're just going to stay in, aren't you? Because where you know that the hazard cards are unlikely to come out in quick succession. I'm not saying they don't, because I've already said they do. The hazard cards are unlikely to come out in quick succession. I do find that a lot of people just leave their torch card face up all the time. They don't even bother to take it back into the hand and choose, because it just seems a little bit pointless, right? And that sort of detracts from the atmosphere that this game could generate. It's the fact that people don't really seem to give a shit in the early stages of the game. So the final thing we don't like about Incan Gold is that this thing gets old very, very quickly, and maybe 5 rounds is just that little bit too much. Yeah, maybe if it was, say, 4 rounds or something, no reason why you couldn't do 4 rounds, but then you'd have more cards to deal with. So it does seem to outstay its welcome in the 5th round. It just seems to sort of like you're sort of wading through a puddle of water. Yeah, so what I'd recommend is maybe take a few cards out of the deck and then just play 4 rounds instead of 5. So to summarise, is Incan Gold still worth your bother today and in the future? So we are going to say probably not, actually. There's plenty of other games around that do the same thing. I mean, like Zombie Dice, for instance, right? I know I can hear people screaming, going, oh my God, Steve Jackson games. Yeah, so what? The fact is that is a game that we have played more than any other leading game. And it's got this geezer on it. Yeah, it's Michael Ronnie. The fact that this is just so simple, it's almost too simple, yeah? The fact that you're just deciding to stay or deciding to go is a bit boring at the end of the day. This is a game that suits certain scenarios. If you're having a party and you really haven't got much choice and you're not sitting there with a load of 18xx strategy geeks, then you can pull out Incan Gold and have a bit of a blast with it. But like I said earlier, this game gets old quick, and it's not one of them games that's going to stand the test of time. I know it's been reprinted loads of times, but from our point of view, it gets boring really, really quickly, but it does have certain flash points. That means it's going to stay in our collection. So we're going to give Incan Gold maybe 2.5, maybe 3 out of 5, depending on who's playing it with you. If you can get a group of players together that don't really care about what they play and they're just up for a laugh, then Incan Gold is pretty good. It's going to suit pissheads better than strategy geeks. Right, so that's Incan Gold. Remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section. Where is it? Down there. There it is. Down there. See you next time.